Hello friends, I am from Helping Hand MBBS and today we are going to study about the facial nerve clinical anatomy, that is lesion in facial nerve. I have already uploaded the video on facial nerve where you can see the course and the normal gross anatomy of it. So it will be very easy to understand the clinical anatomy after seeing that video. So if you are seeing this video, please first see that video and then come to this. So let us start with the clinical anatomy. So as I have told you earlier that the facial nerve arises from the motor nucleus in the pons. So here what you can see is the motor nucleus. This is the motor nucleus located in the pons, and from here the fibers come and run into the facial nerve. And here you can see that this is the cortex part in cerebrum, cerebral cortex, and the corticobulbar fibers from here comes to the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. You can see here very clearly like this and like this straight. So there is a pattern that how they come to this facial nerve nucleus. We will see it here clearly. The motor nucleus is divided into two parts, the upper part and the lower part. This is upper part first and this is lower part second. Assume this is the cerebral cortex part. So there is a particular pattern which I will tell you, that is the upper part of both the nucleus. Upper part of any facial motor nucleus receive fiber from both cortex. This is the first main thing, that is the upper part of this, let us assume this motor nucleus A and this B. Upper part of this facial nucleus gets fiber from both the cortex, and here also, that is upper part is getting the fibers from both cortex. And the other thing is that the lower part get fibers only from the opposite part only, like this cortex number B, this is B cortex, supplies the lower part of opposite facial nerve nucleus, and same with this one, this will supply this one. So this is our first basic concept shown in this figure also. So you should remember this very clearly, that the upper part of motor nucleus of facial nerve receive fiber from both cortex, and lower one from opposite cortex only. So by this basic introduction we can see the lesions now and understand the clinical feature very easily. So there are two types of lesion, as you can see here, the upper motor neuron lesion and the lower motor neuron lesion. So now if I say that there is a lesion at the upper motor neuron level, that is this level, what will happen? Can you guys tell me what will happen if there is lesion at this place? At this place, these three are gone. What will happen? So as you can see that the first fiber, let me assume that this is the first fiber. First fiber is supplying to the upper part of the same ipsilateral motor nucleus. Second one, which is compromised, is supplying the opposite one, and the third one is also supplying the opposite one. So if these fibers get cut, what will be left? Let me erase it so that you can understand it better. Now I am erasing these fibers 1, 2 and 3. So now you can understand it very easily that what is happening here. See that the nucleus B is still, nucleus B upper part of nucleus B is still getting fibers from the opposite cortex. So there will be no as such major compromise. So this will not be affected. And the lower part of B is also getting the fiber from the opposite cortex, as you can see here. Upper part is also getting and the lower part is also getting. So there will be no compromise at the level of B. So B will be okay if the B cortex is gone. So let us now think about the A. What will happen to A? We can see here clearly that upper part of A is still getting the fiber from the ipsilateral cortex. So there will be no compromise at upper level. But you can see that the lower part is gone. Lower part has no fiber because it receives fibers from contralateral cortex only. And here now, because the lesion at contralateral, this is not getting any nerve supply. So lower part of A will be compromised. Lower part of A compromised. So now you can understand this figure very clearly. Let me label this A and this as B. We have studied that upper motor neuron lesion. Let us divide the face into 4 parts. That this face is of 4 parts, and this is our upper part of this will be controlled by upper part of B nucleus, and this will be controlled by lower part of B nucleus, this by lower part of A nucleus, and this by upper part of A nucleus. We have both upper and lower B are functioning very well. So you can see that there is no shade here. The shaded area is affected. No, there is no shaded area here. So this is okay. This is okay. And I have discussed that the upper part of here, you can see that upper part is still getting ipsilateral fiber, so this part is also okay. But the contralateral lower part of motor nucleus is gone, so that this part is affected. So now you can see that in upper motor neuron lesion, contralateral lower side of the face is affected. So let me write the statement finally after understanding all the concept very clearly, so that you can say it in one line what is happening in upper motor neuron lesion. Upper motor neuron lesion, contralateral lower part of face will be affected. This is what I want you to understand. So this line is clear, I think, now. So let us proceed to our second lesion, that is lower motor neuron lesion. Very easy. Lower motor neuron is very easy as compared to upper motor neuron lesion to understand. So let me erase this first, and then we will make a new diagram and understand it completely. So see guys, if the lesion is at below the nucleus, we called it as lower motor neuron lesion or the infranuclear lesion. So as I have told you that this is the cortex A and the cortex B as written here, and this is our nucleus, and the fiber connection, you know now by now that this and the opposite also this, like this. So this is what I have already made you understand. So let us come to the lower motor neurons. So see guys, if there is lesion at this level, what do you think? Is there any relation with the opposite nucleus? If I cut this nerve, this part of nerve, will the opposite side will be affected? No, because the nerve is still okay and there is no problem here. And let us see now that if we cut this part of nerve, this side is affected definitely. Now we know this side, ipsilateral side, is affected always. And now I say that upper part will be affected or lower part will be affected of face. See, both the fibers from upper and lower part is coming to this thing, and we have cut. Now this thing is completely cut. So both upper and lower part of the ipsilateral side will be affected. Now you can understand this figure B completely, that if I cut, let us divide it into 4, And now if I have these two nucleus, and if there is lesion here something, so both part of only this side will be gone, that is this area is now completely gone. You by now understand the lower motor neuron lesion affected area completely and the upper motor neuron lesion area affected. So this is the basic of the facial nerve clinical anatomy, and now we will see the clinical features, and those will be very easy to understand now. So as I have told you, there will be upper motor neuron and lower motor neuron. The lower motor neuron type is known as Bell's palsy. You can see this is known as Bell's palsy, and the upper motor neuron is no such name, but the lower motor neuron, very famous question that what is Bell's palsy, it is the lower motor neuron palsy. So what are the features? For features I will tell one line for the function, because I have covered already it in our previous video. So there will be weakness of facial muscle. We all know the facial nerve supplies our facial muscle. So if the facial nerve is compromised, there will be weakness of facial muscle on ipsilateral side. As I have made you understand previously, there will be ipsilateral weakness of facial muscles. There will be facial droop. What is facial droop? This thing is facial droop, that is the face on one side will be drooping down, and there will be collection of saliva here, and if there is collection of saliva, it will come out from here, and this is also known as drooling of saliva. Guys, can you tell me, after seeing this figure, which side, 1 or 2, is affected in this figure? So you may be thinking that this side is appearing to be more abnormal, so this may be affected, but no, it is very important that this side is not affected. The side affected is this. Why? Because the facial muscle here, let's see here, is paralyzed due to palsy, but the facial muscle present here is functioning normal, so the face is pulled toward this side. So this is why the lesion is at 1, side 1. Here is lesion, here is no lesion. So very important to understand this. There will be drooling of saliva. There will be difficulty in closing of eyes, because it is also governed by our facial muscles. There will be depression at this side, and there will be one-sided smile only. If this person try to smile, only this side will be going upward, but this will be downward only. So these are the features. Let us see other features. There will weakness of facial muscle, facial droop, difficulty in eye closing. I have already told you. There is pain around ear. You know that after coming from stylomastoid foramen, the facial nerve gives the auricular branch, and auricular branch supplies the area of ear. So because it is also compromised, there will be pain near the ear. And as you all know, the chorda tympani nerve carries the taste fiber from anterior 2/3 of tongue to the nucleus tractus solitarius located in our medulla part. So it is also affected. So there will be loss of taste from anterior 2/3 of the tongue. So guys, this is all about the facial nerve lesion. We have completely understood it and with our basics. So thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, if you find it very good, so like it and please subscribe our channel. Thank you.